All right. I think we are up and running for this evening. Hey, I see Red Dragon in the chat. What's up, Red Dragon? Let us go ahead and jump over to the drawing stream layout and we will get started. Hey, I see Ramen and Core Break. What's up, folks? Alrighty. Hope you folks are doing well this evening. What day is it? Thursday? Thursday evening? I don't know what day it is. All right. Hey, Wazzy's here. What's up, Wazzy? How are you doing this evening? All right. Everything looks like it's good on the tablet. Let us get started by creating some background noises for the stream today. Well, let me put this on here as usual. Core Break Redeemed Hydrate. Will do. I will drink the smoothie, which is essentially my lunch at 4 in the afternoon. Oh yeah, Iconic's here. Iconic says, can't stay sadly, but hope you have a great stream, Raku. Always cheering you on. Thanks, dude. Appreciate it as always. Hope you have an awesome evening. All right, let me make sure I can see my loop here. I'm going to be kind of looking off to the side while I get everything recorded here. Reverb. All right, that's there. And then I can test the playback to make sure you folks can actually hear what I'm doing. And let's turn on elements so I can hear alerts. All right, I'm thinking something a bit more up-tempo, kind of like an EDM-ish type song. I was thinking about this before the stream. So let's see if I can get this recorded. I'm thinking kind of a 4-count kick, and then I'm going to add some things sort of around it, just like you would for kind of like a techno electronic type beat. So let's do this. Go. Four counts. I don't normally do loops with the lip roll, so I'm going to experiment with putting that down as a layer on the actual kick track. Now for a snare. I kind of wanted to do a BGM. Let's see if I can do it without mistiming it. As a giant garbage truck goes right by my window. I wonder if that picks up on the mic. I don't hear it. Hopefully you can't hear it in the background. Okay, a 4-count, 2 snares. I need to make sure I time that correctly. Or we could put it on another track too. That could work too. I'm gonna try a different snare and see if it's easier to time. Yeah, it's a little bit easier. Now we can see if we put some hats over the top. Get to loop a little bit better. And now let's see if we can get a bass line in the background. And then that should do it for the BGM for now. Kind of want to mess with that distorted, fuzzy, lo-fi bass effect. So I'm going to turn that on and see if I can get like a 1 or 2 note kind of sustained bass note for the bass line, and then that should be good enough. I think I like the way the melody sounds, but it's a little bit out of rhythm, so I'm going to try and fix that, and then we're good. All right, and we're back. I'm going to leave the volume about there. Let me know, folks, if I need to adjust it or if it's too loud. Corbrick says, this is awesome BGM for DBZ Kakarot that I'm playing. I'm fighting Frieza at the moment. Ah, I see. Hopefully it is motivating you to beat Frieza. Alright. We will leave the music there for now, and now figure out what I'm going to draw today. Thinking about the stuff that we've worked on for the last couple drawing streams, I think the last time I sort of did a mix of different projects and kind of jumped around. I think I want to do something similar today, but rather than work on stream assets specifically, I kind of want to just do some character free sketching. I don't know how far we'll get and whether or not it's going to be kind of a more realized or detailed picture, but I kind of want to just experiment around with ideas. I haven't had a chance to sit down and draw anything in quite some time. I've been busy. Maybe we can do something like a pose and then maybe some specific realized features for the character, because again, I need to kind of get the rust off. Corebreak says, I didn't know you did drawing arts. I do drawing streams here on Twitch, but I don't do them super often with folks like Wazzy and some of the other art-based streamers that do requests and stuff usually a couple times a week. I tend to mix in drawing streams every other week or so, depending on what else I'm doing. So definitely not a dedicated drawing channel. And I really should be doing it more so I don't get out of practice. But that's fine. One of my favorite things to do is design characters, and I need to do more of that on stream for practice. Red Dragon says, I'm getting a drawing tablet so I can get back into drawing after 15 years. What kind of drawing tablet are you getting, Red Dragon? What model? Or what brand and what model? It does remind me, I need to do an equipment page here on the channel. I've been meaning to do that and I have not. That way, in case people ask what tools I'm using, be it software or hardware, it'll be there and they won't have to worry about asking me. To put that on my list of things to do, since it shouldn't be too difficult. But also for my audio equipment, in case people want to know my mic or my loop station version, all that stuff. Wazzy says, I cannot hear you, boss, because I'm housing refugees at my house. It's not a problem, Wazzy. Definitely pay attention to your company. You don't have to worry about the stream. If you got people crashing at your pad. Red Dragon says, a basic Wacom one. I can PM you if you want. Yeah, if you have the... I was just curious as far as the model. Is it an Intuos or one of the external USB ones that's a separate drawing surface? for clarification, in case anyone is curious here, the drawing tablet I use here on stream for digital art is also a Wacom product like Red Dragon's talking about. This is a Wacom Cintiq 21 or 22 HD. I've had this thing a long time, and it has served me well over the years. When did I get this thing? I think I've had this thing for maybe about a decade now. I honestly don't remember. I think I got it maybe around 2010. Corebreak says, Red Dragon, why not get one of the sturdy ones like the ones Wazzy threw down the stairs? And Wazzy says, I do like throwing things downstairs. Hey, first time chat from Lulz Play. That's Frost, right? Is that you, Frost? Lulz Play says, I would not be surprised if Wazzy threw her guests down the stairs. I also would not be surprised. Wazzy says, listen, there's a SWAT team at their house? Boy. That sounds dangerous. It sounds like a serious thing, so hopefully everybody's doing all right. Okay, yeah. I thought I recognized your name, Frost. Welcome to the stream, dude. Hello. Get that out of there. I got your message, Red Dragon. Thanks. I'm not familiar with that model, but you'll have to let me know once you get it and get a chance to test it out what you think. I've talked about it a little before on, it might have been on drawing streams like this, but the external USB based drawing surfaces where you're essentially looking or working on a surface and looking at the screen, I have a real tough time with those. My first tablet was one of those, and because I'm a pencil and paper artist, I had a real difficulty being able to look at a different surface than I was drawing on. Oh, why did my window get dragged out like that? There we go. Frost says, thanks, you're usually streaming when I'm at work. Yeah, no worries, dude. Alright, for this, I'm thinking about drawing a male character. It seems like I do nothing but female character concepts on here for whatever reason. Probably because for a little bit of otaku art history, when I first started drawing characters way back as a much younger, spry artist, most of the characters I drew were for males. I don't know why. Maybe it was easier or had more ideas for male characters at the time, and I had to sort of learn how to get my head around anatomy for female type characters, and then that's what I worked on for a really long time. In fact, I'm still working on it. I see Red Dragon's hoping to test out the new tablet tomorrow. Yeah, good luck. Oh, Draft's here. What's up, Draft? Draft's shouting out Apathetic Potato, who I don't think is here at the moment, but Potato dropped a bunch of gifted subs yesterday during our session. And so, shouts to Potato for being so kind and generous. In fact, yesterday was the first ever hype train on this channel, and it was crazy. I was not expecting it. So yeah, thanks to all you folks who threw stuff at me. Corbreak says, listen, titties are hard to draw. I think they're hard to draw realistically. Red Dragon says all the cave paintings. Corbreak says, regarding the gifted subs, probably how I got my sub, because I don't have any monies. And people have been very nice. I know Wazzy threw some subs in yesterday as well, so much thanks to her. Draftsman says, yo, I literally just had my manager certification. I didn't fail, but I still need to take another class. Ooh. You're gonna be a manager, huh? You can tell people to come in to work on Sundays. Let's see. I'll put that on a different layer. Draftsman says, we all default draw male characters because we all subconsciously afraid of getting called out for drawing big titty. Not if you make it your brand. Honestly, there's nothing wrong with that. Draft says the manager certifications for McDonald's, nothing big. Hey man, manager position's manager position. I wouldn't sell yourself short just because it's McDonald's. I'm assuming as a result you can kind of still work your way up so you're not on the front lines in the trenches, or at least I don't know if managers are required to man the cooking aspects of running like the kitchen and whatnot, but still moving onwards and upwards is good. Alright, I think what I want to do for this is a similar exercise we did on, it was a long time ago, but we did basically a whole bunch of heads and hairstyles and faces for a female character. And I will get back to that character at some point because we were working on outfits for that one at some point. But let's see if we can do some ideas for a male type character and see what we get. Corbreak says to draft. I draw my characters with big titties, but I'm also a whammon, so I don't know. Hey, it's all about aesthetic choices. And draft confirms for the supervisor role. Yeah, we're still required to work the cooking stuff. It's just being crew with extra steps. Well, I'd assume in pay hike too. You would hope. Alright, let's see if we can define some facial features. Fun fact. I am worse at drawing characters facing to the right than I am drawing characters facing to the left. I really would like to fix that. That's why I'm drawing from this perspective today. I don't know what it is, but I tend to skew when drawing characters facing towards the right. And I swear I had the opposite problem a long time ago. So you'll see me flipping my canvas every once in a while to make sure I'm not drawing at a weird angle, which tends to be a problem when you're working on a side you're not used to. As the draft confirms on the pay, $2. That's a start. Nothing wrong with that. Corbett says, gotta get that slightly more money. Also, good idea for practice. Yeah, when it comes to drawing in different perspectives, it's a good idea to sort of push yourself out of your comfort zone. Digitally, it's kind of easy to rely on the tools that you have because you can do things like, flip your reference back and forth and not have to worry about it, but I think it's better just to get used to drawing from different perspectives and directions. So let's see. Flip. Oh, that's not too bad. I've seen worse. That is vertically. Corbett redeemed save reminder. Thank you. This is probably the stream where the save reminder is the most relevant. Why I put it on there. If I'm playing a game like Pokemon or something and I forget to save, it's also pretty relevant, but for drawing streams, I am notorious for zoning out and working on something for a long time and forgetting to save. And it would be tragic to lose work. Even though Clip Studio Paint, which is what we're working in today, usually, I'd say the vast majority of the drawing stuff I do is in Clip Studio Paint. I did learn how to draw in Photoshop, but I find the interface a little bit easier to use in this one. Hey, Edward's here. Edward says, is that Dr. Manhattan? I'm assuming because of the blue and the bald. Don't worry. Homeboy here is not going to remain bald forever. I have to fix my reference, though. I think I did too high of a skull in my reference. Doesn't really matter too much. Yeah, we're probably going to cut off actually around here, and the hair will be up higher, whatever we do for the hair. Draft asked the chat, question for anyone who wants to answer. Is it weird I got all excited and giddy when in my lab we finally started observing living organisms and marked the point where we all experiment with living organisms? No, I don't think that's weird. It's good to be interested in what you're doing. I would say if you were dissecting live animals and you were really excited at the fact of like cutting open live animals, that might be a little bit concerning, but nah. Nothing wrong with being science-minded. I suck at science, so if you that's your deal, then you got respect from me. Alright, I think I want to move my eyes down by a slight bit. And what I'm going to use is this base will be sort of like the basis for the different designs, so I'll have to redraw the facial features each time, unless I want to do something like change the eye shape or whatnot. I see Draft's talking about yeast. Draft says I'm gonna bake bread in class against the professor's wishes. Secret bread. Alright, let's see if we can sort of dial in the direction on our... I guess this is more of a youthful character we're working on here. And then this will be the basis for all of the different hairstyles and features that I want to kind of experiment for the sake of the character drawing. We'll call this base. And now we can do stuff like experiment with hairstyles and whatnot. Wazi says, defy the authority. Corvick says, yep, literally. Make that bread literally. And Corbrick says, secret bread is now a phrase I will repeat for the rest of my life. That's right. Fight the power, secret bread. Oh, I should put pupils on this poor lad so you can actually see. Let's do that. Corbrick says if you add garlic, it restores a large amount of HP. And it keeps vampires away. Draft says, I'm just sad because I want to work under some professors in laboratory as an assistant and do actual research on stuff, but I'm only a first year and I don't know where to start. Well, you gotta start somewhere. Alright, that should give us something a little bit better to work with. Now I can mess around with some hairstyles, which is kind of one of the more fun parts on character design to me. Coming up with a mix of realistic and non-realistic hairstyles is always fun. Draftsman says, I don't know where to start. Well, you gotta start somewhere. Well, by that, I mean at the basic level at the bottom. You know, imagine it's like anything else, right? You gotta start at a basic level and then work your way up. And get connections established. That's another important part, I imagine, like anything else. As a famous literary spokesman once said, you'll start from the bottom, and then you'll be here. Alright, Draftline says, gotta get back to work. Alright, dude, thanks for stopping in. Good luck with the manager stuff. Keep grinding. And also with the sciencing. I really should scale this down. Draftsline says, I will teleport bread. Make sure you bring enough for the whole class. And Edward says, be careful not to get blinded with science. Yep, that is true. Is it Thomas Dolby? The old 80s song, She Blinded Me with Science. It's a good song. There. If I scale it down like this, we can make a bunch of these. I'll just scale the base down and then duplicate this one for everything else. one. The reason why you see me zipping off camera here with my model is because my keyboard is kind of far away. In fact, since I don't need to do anything with the loop station while the BGM is playing, I can slide my keyboard over a little, but the reality is I don't have enough space on my desk to have a keyboard in front of me and my loop and my tablet, because my tablet's flipped down. Gorbreak says, "You're really good at drawing." Oh, thanks. That I don't do it enough. And I really need to get better at drawing things in a digital format, hence the exercise we're doing here today. And kind of like we've talked about on other streams when it comes to character design, the point of idea and concept creation is to just throw stuff at the wall sometimes. It might be really outlandish, but sometimes great designs come from really kind of out there, outlandish ideas that sort of become more defined, or you work off of them and create something else. So I'm gonna take that approach when it comes to drawing hairstyles. And we will see what we come up with. Wazzy says, "Is this just art of Raku if he cut his own bangs?" Possibly. I will need to start doing some brainstorming for a new model. So, depending on what we come up with in the exercise here, that could be material that I can use later for the new model, which I have no idea when I'm going to do that. That's not super high on my list of things to do right now. But you never know. Wazzy says, "No, step away from the scissors." Nobody can stop me. And these are all rough sketches just because it's a little bit easier and faster to do than to ink, color, and do like a fully realized render. We're just kicking around ideas, then just doing things at like a sketch level like this is perfectly fine. Again, we're kind of shotgun methoding it by taking a bunch of ideas and just seeing if anything interesting comes out of the exercise. Corbrick says, "I'll be back in a minute. I gotta call my brother." Alright. We'll be here. There may be 4 more heads on screen by the time you come back, Corbrick. Wazzy says, "I'm really good at cutting my own bangs. At least now I am." Well, I can't imagine cutting my own hair. So I just didn't. That's the story of what my hair looks like. When the pandemic started, I said, I don't really want to go to a barbershop because I don't trust people there. And then it just never went back. Alright, this will be number 3. Corbeck says, "Someone yesterday told me I didn't have to wear a mask." And I said, "I have asthma." Yeah, that's a good reason. I think even though where I live here in Yankeeville states, the mask mandates and requirements for most places are pretty loose now. They've been recalled, or whatever you call it, lifted rather. And I still wear masks when I go places because, again, I just don't trust people. Edward says, I cut my own hair. I don't know if I'm good, but I do it. Props. Let's go for a little bit kind of longer strands on this one. I can also update the caption for the stream if I can reach my keyboard. We'll call this just character ideas. Oh, come on, keyboard. There we go. I did not mean to rotate my canvas. I don't even know what that was. Oh, it's over here. Is it? Yeah, that's it. All right. Wazzy says, okay, that one is Raku cutting his own hair. You talking about this one with the long bits? Or it's just because like the bangs are really erratic. I need to fix that. Chances are, if this person had really long hair, they wouldn't have sort of chopped short bits just for the sake of bangs. So we can fix that. Doesn't have to be perfect. We could do one, what's it called? An ahoge? One single strand up here. It's like an antenna. Gets good reception. Corbreak says, why did I read that as live zoops? Or you're looking at the caption at the bottom? I'm zooping all over the place. Number 4 already. Ooh, what if we went for like a dyed, like a two-toned visual K type look? Those are fun. Probably medium length. Actually, could be regular length. If we really wanted to. Maybe shorter here. Longer in the front. I don't like the way that looks. See if we can get the kind of dividing part. I'll sort of illustrate what I'm talking about with the different two tones in a sec. Let's see if we can get this a little more clean. There we go. Frost says, Ahoge is the anime hair antenna. Ahegao is not that. You don't want to mix them up. Indeed. One is a kind of defining hairstyle trope, and the other is definitely not that. But it's a common garment design. You see people with those like the hoodies, the Ahegao hoodies. Those people are to be feared, man. If you got the stones to wear one of those in public, then you fear nothing. I'm not gonna knock the hustle, but bold statement. Corbrick says, Wazi, I've been meaning to ask, is your profile pic at Ahegao? Uh-oh. I think technically the eyes have to be looking upwards for that to qualify. I mean, I have no idea what that means. Alright. This trailing edge of the hair is giving me problems. I kind of want it to be ridiculously like billowy and long, like it's disproportionate. But the way I could kind of foresee the coloring working is this part would be a darker shade of color and this part here would be a different color over here. But in like a sketch form, it doesn't realize too well. Let's compare our different hairstyles here for this prototype character, and I can arrange them a little bit better on the screen here. All right. I want to do a whole bunch of these just to get ideas out. So we'll probably do several other iterations of the hair. We've got kind of normal medium length hair here. We've got medium length spiky. We've got longer. And then we've got it's not a phase, Mom. So kind of an interesting spread. We will keep going and see what else we got. We'll save our progress. Corbett Redeemed Hydrate. Indeed. I'm gonna have to go get some more water in a sec, but we'll keep going here. Gorbrick says hydration game. Every time a streamer hydrates, we drink water too. That's a good idea. You could probably hear my bottle picking up but drinking noises on the mic. But water's important. And when I'm talking a lot, my voice tends to get... My throat gets a little bit dry when I'm talking a lot, so it's good that I have stuff on hand to drink. Alright, let's go a little bit shorter on this one. Higher forehead. Here, go shorter on the burns. Maybe up here. This one's very I'm the protagonist type of haircut. I'm a brave boy. Maybe we can give kind of more of a, I don't know, we call that a fringe? It's a little bit short. Give it a little bit more of a kind of spiky texture to it. Like so. Alright, let's do one more and then I'll go refill my water bottle. Now for this one, let's change direction. Maybe we can have the hair going back, kind of swept back. We haven't done that yet. Kind of a windswept look, medium length. Direction's kind of going back across the forehead, and then the direction is like backwards, pointing that way. Could even make the texture a little bit less individually spiky and maybe a bit more feathered. Hey, Sourlad's here. Sourlad says, nice hair. What's going on, dude? Welcome to the drawing stream. We are messing around with character concepts and hairstyles specifically. Let me save this. I need to go refill my water bottle, so what I'll do is I'll zoom out and you can see the different experimental hairstyles we've come up with so far. There are 5. Oh no, we're up to 6. Maybe I'll do 2 rows of 6. I do want to mess around with some ideas for an outfit, a pose in an outfit, so we can look at that after we work on these hairstyles. All right, I'll turn my mic off. I will be back in 1 sec. All right, I'm back. What we got in chat? Oh, Corbreak says, looks like the VTuber model is ducking below the computer for a second. Yeah, if I move away from the camera, and assuming it just doesn't go to sleep, my model will just shrink down and sort of hide underneath my tablet, which is what's on the overlay here. Oh, I saw the spam bot message for a second. Thanks, Sourlad. Thank you for doing your modly duties. Lion Tamer redeemed hydrate. Will do. Frost says the last hair design is just Stinko Man. Legally distinct. Corbreak says Stinko Man. That is from Homestar Runner. Look it up. It's from a funny bit. Oop, Red Dragon Dream drop a beat. Oh, okay. I'm gonna go in and see if we can mix up the BGM too, but before we do that, fortunately it is easy for me to just stop the BGM in case someone redeems that. Yeah, I see Frost is referencing Strong Bad Emails, Japanese cartoon. Strong Bad Emails are timeless classic internet literature. They're great. I remember reading those way back in the day. All right, so let me drop a beat for Red Dragon. I'm gonna kind of warm up a little bit, but I'll pull something out of my rear. All right, let's turn the BGM back on, and I'm going to see if I can mix the rhythm up a little bit. All right, we'll put scatter on. Doesn't make it dramatically different, but it does switch the rhythm up a little bit. Turn. I'll leave filter off. Let's see. Corbreak says that was amazing. Oh, and the beat. Thank you, Corbreak. And thanks to Red Dragon for the redeem. Red Dragon's taken off. Going to bed. Thanks for tuning in, Red Dragon. Always a pleasure. Hope you have a restful night's sleep, and I'll catch you on the next stream for sure. And I see Frost is talking about Friday Night Fan Fiction, the podcast that he's part of as a host. Definitely worth checking out. I think I haven't had a chance to catch one of them recently, but from what Frost has mentioned, they go through kind of a range of bad and you can confirm, Frost. Do you guys ever read good fan fiction on there, or is it purely just the spectacle of bad internet fan fiction? I just made one small change to the beat. I flipped the bass line around, so now it's reversed. I see Frost confirms. We go for stuff that we can make fun of. Lots of bad stuff, some good stuff. I'm sure, I don't know about the folks on stream, but have you ever read Sonic High School on your podcast or at all? Corbeck says, please tell me y'all did My Immortal. Yeah, that would be another one that I would shout out for folks who might not be aware of the infamous legacy of fan fiction. Starlat said Sonic High School. For those folks that are watching, or will be watching in the future, if you have never read the Sonic High School fan fiction, do yourself a favor next time you got some spare minutes on the internet. Look it up and read it. It is wild. I don't know if it's still ongoing or not, or whatnot at this point, but yeah, it's an experience. Check it out and then report back to the class. Frost says, My Immortal was the genesis of FNF. We read it several times. We've also read Sonic High School. Trust me, even if you don't care about Sonic in the least, Sonic High School is hilarious. Maybe not quite to the level of ridiculous that My Immortal is, but very close in my opinion. Kubrick says, okay, I might check it out. You'll have to let me know if you do. I'd quote stuff from it, but that would be spoilers. Alright, let's go from right to left on the bottom row here and do some more hairstyles. Hold on one sec. Phone's going off. All right. Let's see, maybe we can do a middle part. We haven't done one of those yet. Long bangs parted at the middle. Ross says, we even read a one-off from Sonic High School by the same person. It's more manageable than all of Sonic High School. Like a spin-off story. It's not necessarily fiction per se. It's a work of fiction, but not a narrative fiction. But has anyone here ever read Tails Gets Trolled? I think I've mentioned that a couple times throughout streams here, but that is a very entertaining bit of fiction. It goes some places too. All right, number 7. Oh, I got an idea for one. We can go super edgy on this one. Longer hair, but it'll be obscuring the eye for maximum edge. Frost says, I recommend the works of Peter Camara and Buster Manwomb. Both have written stories for us and guested on the show. Oh, nice. I have to look into that. Corbett says, it's not a phase, Mom. Very, I can be your angle or your devil energy. If we wanted to make it real accurate, we'd have to go. Let's see. Do eyeshadow? Not a phase. Corbett says, reminds me of Yoshino Jinpei from Jujutsu Kaisen. I have not seen Jujutsu Kaisen yet. It is definitely on the list of things to watch amidst the many, many things the internet yells at me to watch. And I've heard very good things. Heard good things about that one. Obviously, Demon Slayer. It's another one I've heard a lot of good things about. Many things. I actually just finished reading the most recent released collection of Berserk. I think I mentioned I was reading Berserk on one of the other streams. But I've been buying the deluxe edition, big collection tomes, and I just read the most recent one, or finished the most recent one a couple days ago. And the next one doesn't come out till I think July? And so what I'm reading at the moment, I'm trying to get back into reading manga if I can find a way to get my hands on it. But I am reading Flame of Recca, which is one of my favorite mangas. I have it on my computer, so I've been reading it like when I eat dinner. Frost says I have a staff supper to go to. Have a good night, y'all. Thanks for stopping by, Frost. It's good to talk to you. Hope your supper is awesome. And I will catch you later. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of digging the long emo bangs here. I don't know if I'd use it for this character necessarily, but I kind of like the style. We will think about that for future reference. Alright, what to do with this one? This is number 9. Could go for sort of a parted long hair type look. Put like a side part about there. Maybe something like maybe have a couple strands this way. And then do something like this. Sourlad says, I've been seeing too many stories of people time traveling back in time but remember everything. That is a pretty common trope in whenever you have time travel. Let's look at Back to the Future. It's a pretty good example of that. That's how Biff got the almanac. See if we can get more of a kind of long stranded look here. Going to sort of distinguish it from the other kind of longish one we did in the top row. Give me something like add a hair accessory, like a clip or like a clasp thing with like a maybe a jewel on it or something over here. Sarlat says, do you ever get tired when the MC just becomes a god in the early parts of the story? Yeah, that is also a common trope. Kind of depends on the way a story's structured though, because if it's like a shonen type plot, usually they have to go through like a big struggle and train, like a training arc and everything else before they're like god tier power. But to me, if you're gonna have the main character just become like super powerful, there needs to be something to take them down and provide some sort of struggle of perseverance or whatnot else. Like, it's not an interesting story just to have the main character roll everything. And and whatnot. I think a good way to flip that trope on its head would be to have part of the story show the villain's training arc. I don't think you see that very common in media, commonly. All right, moving on to 10. I will say one of my least favorite tropes in media stories, whether it's, you know, manga, anime, or any type of fiction or story, I don't like when the end plot resolution is it was all a dream. That's one of the most frustrating things when it comes to story payoff to me. Alright, let's go shorter for this one. Gorbreak says, that's why I like My Hero Academia. I have only seen the first season of My Hero Academia. I need to watch more of it. I did like it. I enjoyed it. Enjoyed the story and the action and all the characters. My problem is because I'm busy with a lot of things, my ability to just binge watch an entire series is somewhat limited. Sarlad says the trope I hate the most in anime is one boy and all girls types where it's just 99% girl and one guy. So like a harem situation. Yeah. Not really my thing. This dude's hair looks like it's on fire. That's not too similar to the short one above. Another trope I see a lot, not really in shows I've watched, but just in stuff that's decently popular and out now, if you're talking about like the anime side, is obviously the isekai plotline. I kind of thought there would have been like trope fatigue on that, but it seems like it's still really common as far as story plots. Sourlad says, harems are just boring. It's either everyone is left cold or MC is dense. I can't really speak from a cultural perspective, but my guess is the reason why harem stories are popular is kind of the fantasy aspect. You know, kind of like a self-insert into the role of the main character who everyone's vying for his attention. Or possibly on the flip side for the girls, being it like a bunch of girls competing for a guy's attention too. I don't know, because harem's plot lines aren't really my thing, so I don't know what the appeal is, but my guess is something like that. All right, we are coming up on number 11. We'll do 12 total, and then see where we're at time-wise. Starlat says the most generic looking anime characters that just have different clothes. They all look the same with slight variations. I'm assuming that's in response to the idea of like a harem type situation. I can think of one series that I saw. It's an old one because I'm an old person, but it's kind of a harem plot, but it has a lot of really interesting characters, and I think it doesn't fall into the trap that Sour Lad's talking about, and that's Tenchi Muyo. There's some pretty interesting lore in the world they establish with like these characters from outer space. That's pretty interesting. There's a lot of interesting personalities and designs from Tenchi Muyo, and it does follow kind of an actual story, not just everyone's fighting over a dude. That's kind of like the secondary motivation of the plot than the actual story. So that aspect I like, but it's also at most like seven girls. It's not like 20 girls. Sarlat says, old anime has some spice to it. New anime is just following what's popular. It depends on what you're watching, really. You can find a whole lot of noticeable trends among old stuff, too. It's just, there's a larger body of material to look at, so the chances of you picking two series at random from a bin of stuff that's 20 years old and finding the same premise and basic tropes isn't quite as common, but if you look hard enough, you can find stuff that's like very obviously this was a mecha trend, or this was a like high fantasy, you know, we're gonna go save the kingdom type thing. It just depends. It's a mix like everything else. For folks in chat that are watching, we're talking about things like anime and manga. If you were to recommend a series that's near and dear to your heart, that is one of your favorites to get someone into the medium, what would you recommend? If someone came to you and said, "Hey, I heard anime is cool. What's the best thing to watch that you like?" What would recommendations be? Throw them at me. I think if someone came up to me and asked me that question, what's something that's, it doesn't have to be new or old, just something near and dear to your heart, and they asked me for a recommendation, I would probably do Gurren Lagann, which is one of my all-time favorites. Probably my number one is Eva, but it's not as easy to get into. Number two would probably be Gurren Lagann. I guess you'd have to sort of tailor it towards what the person asking is into, but if you had to give one recommendation, what would it be? Oh, Sourlad says manga only. Actually, I am. You're a manga only reader, Sourlad? If I'm reading your comment correctly. I guess we're going kind of medium length on this one. Alright, Starlight says anime version is not great, plus it's a slight dent to what the manga has. So what's the title? From a couple lines up, just to make sure I'm getting your recommendation correctly. Oh, it's called Actually I Am. Oh, right. Okay, I've never heard of that one. How old is it? Is it a newer series, an older series? Alright, let's move on to number 12. Starlight says, I think it's from the 2000s. Let's see if I can look it up. If I recognize the art style, because I don't recognize the name. Oh. It's called Jitsu wa Watashi wa. Okay, I haven't heard of the Japanese name either. My Monster Secret. Was it localized as My Monster Secret? I do not recognize that art style. A quick Google image search has a lot of pictures of this character with green hair. I'm gonna assume that's one of the main characters. Ah, there, yeah, I see. I just flipped back to the chat. Starlight says My Monster Secret. Interesting. I have not heard of that one. If we're talking manga titles to recommend, I would say Flame of Recca. That's an old one. Kind of standard shonen type story. Similar in vibe to Yu Yu Hakusho, but it's a really cool story. It is 30-something volumes. Starlight, if you are interested in checking out Flame of Recca, let me know and I can hook you up off stream because I have it on my computer. I've been reading it at dinner time lately and just remembering how awesome it is. Dresswine says, what is that crunching noise in my ear? You talking about the BGM? Starlight says Flame of Recca. Yeah, it's spelled R-E-C-C-A. It's how his name is stylized. But yeah, it's old. I think it's probably from the 90s. Maybe mid to late 90s. But yeah, let me know if you're interested and I can hook you up. I gave it to Pink recently because I think they've read it and they hadn't read it in a while. So I was like, all right, here. They're basically scanslated chapters from way back before the manga was released anywhere. I've been trying to get physical versions of that forever, but it's kind of hard to find. But to answer Draft's question about the crunching noise, I'm assuming you're talking about the lip roll noise. That's what that is on the loop. Alright, let's get this last one on the faces. Starlight says, here's my anime recommendation. Great Teacher Onizuka for older, mature, or Mob Psycho 100 for younger? Good recommendations. I have not seen Mob Psycho 100, but a lot of people recommended that one to me. I have read not all of it, but I've read some of GTO. I remember the show, but I think I read more of it a long time ago. That's also a good one. Alright, what are we going to do for this last one? Starlight says it's great because I think the final season is coming soon of Mob Psycho 100 or GTO. I know GTO's has been around for a long time. I assumed it was done. And Tower says Mob Psycho anime should finish what's left in the manga. There's no filler. Would you recommend reading or watching Mob Psycho 100? Sour Lad, you had a choice. Ooh, kind of weirding out there for this last one. On topic of Mob Psycho 100, Starlight says I think the anime would have a bigger impact. Okay, that's good to know. I've heard like the way it's animated and all the crazy fight scenes and whatnot is really impressive in the anime. I will keep that in mind. Starlight says, think of it like the original One Punch webcomic to the anime. Isn't Mob Psycho 100 done by the same author? But I do get you. I read One Punch Man before I watched it, and it's a spectacle on the screen. That's a fun series too. One day I'm hoping that season 2 of One Punch Man gets released on Crunchyroll. Last I checked, it still wasn't available for some weird reason. Starlight says yes, it's the same author. Like I talked about before, and I was mentioning it, another series that I always recommend, but might not be for everybody, even though it's my favorite manga series, is obviously Berserk. I had stopped reading it for a while because I wanted to wait for a whole bunch of chapters to come out, and then Miura tragically died. But it's such a good story, and reading the deluxe collection I mentioned earlier is kind of reminded me what a interesting story, and the art is just insane in Berserk. That's why I like it. It's intense though. It's definitely not for everybody. Charlotte says also the OVA of One Punch. I never saw that. I've only seen the first season. Silas says, I read Berserk all the way to the final chapter release. Okay, so you've read farther than I have because I haven't bothered to track down the scanslated chapters up to the final stuff released. I'm just waiting till I get them all in physical form. But I know roughly what happens towards the end. Guts was getting on the boat when I stopped reading, so I think I have maybe a dozen, no, probably less than that, maybe like 5 or 6 volumes of chapters that I've not read, and so I will consume those as I get them, because the way they're releasing that deluxe collection is every couple months, so I'm just gonna keep buying them. And of course, like I think I've mentioned on a couple streams, for watching material for comedy. Like I don't know if you consider it slice of life, but I like to recommend Cromartie High School because it's one of my favorite series. It is ridiculous, but it is very funny. It's kind of like, to me, it's a little bit like meme humor before meme humor existed, because it's an older series, early mid 2000s series. But Cromartie High School is great. It is very memorable. The English dub of it's also really, really funny. For stuff being that old, usually it's kind of hit or miss when it comes to English dubs, but Cromartie High School is funny in English. Alright, let's rearrange all of our character heads here and then take stock. Starlat says, I guess my favorite anime is Devil is a Part-Timer. Can't believe it's getting a second season with the OG cast. I have heard good things about that one too. Again, my knowledge of stuff that's current is not as good because I just don't watch stuff quickly and as it's out. But Devil's a Part-Timer I've heard is pretty good. Saralad says, I think that anime is from early 2010s. Are you talking about Devil's a Part-Timer or Cromartie High? I honestly don't remember. I've had the dual language dubs of Cromartie High on my computer forever. I don't remember when I watched it, but it was a while ago. It was at latest 2010, maybe 29. Or 2009. Oh, Devil's a Part-Timer from 2010s. I see. They've been around that long? Shows how up to date I am. Yeah, back when I was in Earth School, I watched a lot of anime. A lot. And this was just the stuff was being scanslated because it wasn't being released locally here in the States. And so we just downloaded lots of series and watched. I could talk at length about the stuff we watched in large groups. Some of it was great, some of it was kind of mid, and some of it wasn't great, but just sheer volume of stuff. I could talk about that stuff forever, so if you're ever interested in having that conversation, Sour, let me know. I can always hit you up and talk about it. Sour that says, The Disastrous Life of Saiki K. This is a good question for you, Sour Lad, on the topic of anime stuff. Have you ever filled out a My Anime List, an MAL? I was working on one, but it is nowhere near complete. It's something I need to go back and do. That way I can send it to people who want sort of like a track record of stuff. Give me 1 second. I left my music mixing program open and I don't know why. I got to task manager this thing. 1 sec. Sarah says I don't have one. I just find random anime YouTube channels for recommendations. That's fair. My anime list is kind of more of a reference guide for stuff that you've seen if you create your own. And I find it's an interesting thing to go back and look at and say, oh yeah, I remember I watched XYZ series from, back then. It's a reference publication. All right, what I think I'm going to do, we'll be wrapping up the stream somewhat soon. But let's mess around with some poses based on this one right here we've got. And then maybe next time we can do outfit design, devote an entire stream to that. Silence says, I know 2 really good ones on YouTube, Anime Recap and Anime Company. That's good. I usually don't follow any dedicated sources for stuff that's out because I never watch anything when it's new. Most of the time, if it's not something I am following or looking forward to, I am finding out about it way after the fact, or if enough people on the internet are talking about it. That's usually the other way I find out about stuff that's current. Starlad says, the recap tells the whole season anime. Does it do like a big condensed wrap up of the whole story? Or highlights, or does it kind of tell you what happened? I know there's movie channels that do that, where they basically summarize the story of a whole movie, like a Cliff Notes type thing, and then I guess people don't have to watch them. Starlight says it's bits and pieces just to give enough context. I see. It's kind of like a preview type thing of what happens in a given season. That makes sense. I see Starlight says, also the anime company have licensed some anime so their stuff is legal. Yeah, I was gonna wonder how channels like that can exist without getting copyright claimed and struck to high hell, but that makes sense. If they're actually company backed, then they're able to get the rights to stuff. Yeah, that makes sense. Alright, what I'm doing here is I'm experimenting around with some variations on this original really rough primary pose I made. Starlight says, I remember watching Lupin the Third movies watch alongs under restrictions to delete the vid after some time. So like a limited type thing. I have never seen any Lupin the Third. That's very old brand. I've never seen or read anything from it. I know of it obviously because it's very very famous, and it was remade somewhat recently, right? They had a string of movies or a series or something that came out. Ah, it was limited but stayed for a few days. Gotcha. Yeah, Sarlad says, very old. Part 6 is the newest of Lupin. I want to say that goes back to like the 70s. Without looking it up. I just know the series has been around forever. Alright, let's see how our pose is doing here. I have to think a little bit about builds and how this particular character proportion-wise is going to work. This exercise right here is mostly just to get a standing pose I can work from in the future. You don't need to have everything super finalized because I still have to figure out outfits and the like. Tyler says, yeah, it's probably from the 70s. They literally made a movie involved the JFK assassination. Yeah, I know it's old. So that's also not very surprising. I think I want to more or less preserve the position of the limbs. Maybe we'll have the arm in a little bit further or out. You can have the hand resting like that. We'll rough it in and then see what makes sense when we actually get to fleshing out the rest. Starlight says, maybe tomorrow or Saturday you can DM recommendations and I'll try and check them. Yeah, I can do that. Again, we don't have to hash it out right now, but if you are interested in like I said, checking out Flame of Recca, I can just link you to an easy way to download it. Because I have it. I just can copy it in like a Google Drive or something. That's what I did for Pink. It's super easy. But yeah, let me know. Hit me up on Discord. Because I have no idea if there's an accessible place to read something that old. All right, Sour says I'll DM you a link to the anime company. Sure. I'm down to check it out. Corbreak is back. Corbreak says, back, sorry, went for a walk. Service isn't great here. No worries. We are doing sort of a updated pose sketch primary for the next time we work with this particular character design. Next time is going to be outfits. Costumes, clothing, armor, the like, which is also a really fun part of the concept process for me. But let me zoom out and we'll sort of do a wrap up of what we've done here so you can see the rest of the faces. Save that. And so what we've done with this exercise is we've come up with a bunch of kind of varied and interesting hairstyles. Honestly, I didn't think... Here, I'll go jump up here so I can actually make marks on these. I didn't really think it'd end up this way, but ones of note that I like here of the set that we've kind of just thrown out. I like this one, the last one on the list, which is a little surprising. I do like the kind of emo bangs hiding the eye look. I don't think I'd use it for this character, but I do like the sort of way the hair is designed. Those two kind of stand out to me. Honestly, if we're going for protag energy, probably this first one of the ones I like. But I don't know. There's kind of a lot to be decided as far as final-ish designs, and again, going through the effort and exercise of designing an outfit is going to kind of inform what kind of character this is going to become. Unlike the previous one with the female character we did a while back, this one didn't have any sort of background, so we started completely from scratch. And I'll have to think about how I would work the character into something like a story, kind of motivation, past, background, and all that. Starlight says, what's this character for? That's why I mentioned it a second ago. I just wanted to mess around at character designs. This isn't for anything. Versus the female character is for a story that I'm going to be trying to write soon. This is literally just, let's come up with a dude character and experiment with ideas. I can potentially see if this is a character that may fit in that other story, but I don't know. This is just an exercise of coming up with ideas. And I'll probably know a lot more about what I want to do with the character once we get a fleshed out, outfit, kind of more of a cohesive theme and everything else. And Corbrick says, a writer too. What aren't you good at? Well, I didn't say I'm a good writer, but I do write, yes. The stuff that you see me draw with characters and things in this style is usually related to a huge body of work and fiction that I work on. Unfortunately, I haven't had a lot of time to write. I've been busy doing streams and other stuff, but I want to sort of get back to crafting that universe, and taking time on stream to draw stuff like this will give you folks kind of a glimpse into that, and that gives me kind of the motivation to push a lot of that stuff forward. And I don't know, none of the extended fiction works are done, really. That's a whole nother topic of explaining how everything is set up, but yeah, there's a time where I did a lot of writing, and I'm trying to get back into it. Writing and drawing was something I did a lot of before I picked up a bunch of other hobbies and the music stuff, so it's a juggling act, I always tell people I have too many hobbies. But it's kind of fun to bounce ideas off of folks in chat too, so hopefully this particular exercise today was interesting. We'll most likely return to this one more readily, so I don't lose a lot of the ideas that we've come up with. But like we've seen on other old streams from the YouTube days before I moved to Twitch, we spent several streams working on Monster Hunter creature fusions. I wouldn't mind doing another one of those at some point too. That was a fun exercise. In my opinion, my forte is monster and creature designs versus people, but I want to get better at drawing people, hence what you're seeing here. But yeah, before we wrap up, let us see who is online that we can raid. Dio's online. We can definitely raid Dio. Starlight says maybe you can add them for background characters to fill a scene. Yeah, kind of the main purpose of doing character designs like this would be to first and foremost try and prioritize main characters, but you know, NPCs or other type of background stuff is also good too. Honestly, if I had my way, I would just design characters all day. I actually find that more fun than writing because I tend to get blocks on plots and everything for writing stories, but I probably designed hundreds of characters. Another exercise I'd like to do in the future is coloring and inking my sketches from pencil and paper, which is where I used to do before I started working with digital. And so I've got tons of characters from stuff like the stories and whatnot that I'd love to get into an inked and digital format. So maybe we'll do that at some point in the future too, and you guys can see what some of the more realized sketches look like. And if I really feel like exposing my history to the internet, maybe we can do like a Araku looks at really cringy early art. It's bad though. I really think it'd be embarrassing, but if it be good content, I would consider it. But yeah, let's go get ready to raid Dio. So thanks again for the folks who stopped by and hung out. It was good chatting with all of you. Let's turn this off. We will go to the outro and go raid Dio. So I will catch you folks in the next stream. Let us commence the raid.